The other good thing about this particular model that deals with that vacancy issue, when you have a single family house rented to a family and they leave and you can't fill it for a month or two, you have no income coming in. Here, I'm going to have some income coming in if one person leaves or even if two people leave. So that also helps with stability for the model.
Welcome to the Share the Wealth Show, where minority professionals can learn to escape the racial wealth gap and catapult themselves into abundance. Your host, Nicole Pendergrass, grew her net worth from being negative to multiple six figures. Join her on her investigative mission to expose secret strategies of the wealthy so we can all have the tools needed to build the life and legacy we were created to possess. Now it's time for the show.
Hey guys, so we're back again. This is the second part of the episode with today's guest. I need you, if you have not heard part one, go back to the previous episode and listen to that first, and then come back and join us here today. You need to hear the whole conversation. This is why we split into two parts. There's so many nuggets. It's so juicy. Go back and listen to the first part.
What's your process or your criteria for a tenant outside of personality?
Yes, so I make sure that they have a source of income that's can afford the rent, plus, you know, they'll obviously have to make more money to afford their food and whatnot. Our shared rooms, I charge $680 per bed. And for the private rooms, I'm charging $780 per private room. And so they have to prove a source of income as well. I do a criminal background check just to make sure there's no violent criminal history, because I want to make sure that the young ladies feel safe. Because I'm catering to people in an affordable housing, space, I don't do credit checks, things like that, to make sure they got good credit or anything. I get their driver's license, I get contact information for, their referrals, and that's about it. I try to make it easy for them as well, but mostly the most important thing to me is that they don't have, a violent criminal background.
Okay.
And one of the other things that I do in order to kind of, make them all feel safe and secure, and also to be able to monitor the property, is we do have, which is standard for transitional housing group homes, is I do have cameras in the common areas of the house. So, facing the front door, the back door, one faces the common hallway that leads to all the bedrooms. So that, in case something happens, someone says, I think somebody went into my room, or, something like that, I do have the ability to go back and look at the cameras to see, if something has happened.
Okay. Do you have each room locked? Like, does each
Yes.
have an individual lock? And then,
Yeah.
like, I guess the shared rooms, they just both have a key or
Yeah,
pad?
exactly. Yeah, so we use the keypad entry for the front door, so everyone has a code. And then, if someone leaves, then their code is deactivated so that they don't have access to the property anymore. And each room has, they're individually locked.
So the code is individual to the person and not like the
Correct.
same code for the house. Nice.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. That's kind of, and so that must have been something you got from midterm rentals or short-term rentals, because I know I've heard that before in
Yeah.
the short-term rental world, like
Yeah.
using that so you could remotely change lock codes and people can't have access once the next guests are coming in, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, cool. And then the other layout, so we see how the bedrooms are. You have a couple of single rooms, you have a couple of shared rooms. What about furnishings when people move in and out? Like, do they bring things like all their furniture and stuff with them? Do you furnish it? Any utilities included? Like, how is that set up on the expense side?
Yeah, so you want to make it as easy as possible for these people that are looking for transitional housing. So the property is fully furnished. I provide the beds. I even provide initial set of linens, initial set of like towels. All of the furniture in the house has been provided. I even have 2 refrigerators in the house just to make sure that they have ample space because there's 6 people in the house. And there's also a separate, like a deep freezer so that they have even more space there. So it's fully furnished. I provide all of the utilities, I cover that. That's included in their rent. I take care of the lawn care and the pest control. That's all included. So they just have to worry about paying their monthly room fee, and that's it.
Nice. Okay. Now, so I while you were talking, I did the math on the monthly room fees, right? So with 4 people paying $680 for the 2 shared rooms and 2 people paying $780 for the 2 private rooms, that comes up to $4,280 per month in
Correct.
rental income. What is you do offer a lot there, like if everything's included. What was I guess the first thing is what was your startup cost to get everything furnished?
Mhm.
And then what's your monthly recurring expenses? Because for me, I'm just thinking about if I had tenants and I was paying for all utilities, they would have the water running all day or the heat on 100 in the winter time. You know what I mean? Like, so how do you monitor that, and has your expenses gotten out of control? Or like you've done it a couple of years now, so it's probably pretty standardized. You kind of know what to expect in the summer and winter. So how much is your monthly expenses, and how do you
Yeah.
help them control not ODing on the utilities?
Great question. So I had that situation with the electricity. Earlier on, they would, put the AC down to like 60 degrees. And so the electric bill, especially during the summer, started creeping up. I think it was like not last summer, but the summer before. And so how I addressed that initially was I said, okay, we're going to have a cap. I'm going to pay electricity up to, I forget what the number was, like $280 a month. Anything above that, you all are contributing to cover it. And that got to be a little bit tedious. So I said, you know what, I'm just raising everybody $20, so that covered the additional. So we're good. I monitor the electrical bill. You can have a thermostat that is controlled, so you can control the temperature. That helps as well. So to answer your question about the expenses for now, 2024, our total expenses, including the mortgage, electricity, water, cable, because I do provide internet, lawn service, and even $100 for reserves, that totals $1,781.
What?
So my net income is about $2,400, give or take.
From one single family house that has 4 bedrooms. How do you know how much a 4-bedroom single family house would rent if you were renting it to just one family?
Yeah. So when I first, you doing your due diligence, we talk about due diligence. So when I was running numbers back in 2020, when I first bought the property, the rent for that area was $1,800, the average rent. And now, because this is Miami, the average rent for that area is now about $3,000. So it has gone up. But I'm still, still profitable. So
Because even at $3,000, I'm thinking, and some of the expenses you wouldn't include, but the
right.
that you wouldn't include is like the cable, heat, water, like electricity.
Right. So a couple $100, about $500,
Yeah,
maybe.
dollars taken off of your expenses, but you're getting like $1,500 more than what you would get
Right.
in a normal rental,
Right.
as like the cash flow. So
And in all honesty, I could charge more per room. And I choose not to for these young ladies. So, but as they will transition out, as new ones come in, my intention is to, increase the monthly. These are great. I'm very blessed to have them as long as that I've had them there. And sometimes you kind of have to weigh the pros and cons of, outpricing them so that they can't afford to live there, and then having a vacancy, and
yeah,
then, trying to find somebody new. So as long as they, for now, for now, the intention is to keep it, below market for room rentals. But as they phase out, I plan to increase it for new people coming in. So that'll increase the cash flow as well.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, yeah, that's definitely something you have to think about. Is like, do you want to stay with the tenants that you have now? And it's not just like having that vacancy and having to go look for somebody else. And now it's like, who is that other person that you're going to find?
Yeah.
And what's the quality of their personality? Are they going to mesh, especially in a group home model?
Yes.
Because I think about that just with a normal resident or tenant is like, is this going to be the squeaky wheel tenant who wants, every little thing kind of they want to find to complain about versus the tenant that's already in there, right? Like, and so I think turnover is, I don't think, but I know turnover is like
Yeah.
a landlord's biggest expense. Not
Absolutely.
just the cost of turning it over, but the vacancy that ensues, and like you don't know what you're going to get after that as well, as far as the next tenant base. So
Exactly.
Looking to build wealth with real estate? Are you all tapped out on YouTube University and ready to get help tailored to your specific situation and goals? Have you always known that you were a little different from the crowd, that you never liked following the status quo, and that you're just tired of living in mediocrity? You want to build wealth on your own terms outside of Wall Street? Well, then maybe the Microfamily Mavericks mentorship program can help with that. It's a community where I handhold you through the process of buying your first small commercial multifamily building, because not everyone is ready for 100 units out the gate. Why multifamily? Because it gives your rental income a hedge against vacancy. Imagine what happens when your single family rental tenant leaves, right? And why commercial 5+ units? Because you have much more control over increasing the building's value in the commercial space, and then in turn, increasing your own net worth. Starting small is a stepping stone to so much more, because then you can tap that equity and buy another building and another and another, and you get the point. So increasing your cash flow and your ability to be job optional along the way. It's all a part of the journey. So if you think big, but you want to start small, and if you know multifamily real estate is the way for you to open the door to building a life of freedom, abundance, and legacy, but you just need someone to guide you step by step, and you want to be surrounded by other people on the same journey, doing the same thing, then just click the link in the show notes to find out a little bit more about the Microfamily Mavericks, and I look forward to potentially seeing you on the inside. So now back to the show.
Other good thing about this particular model that deals with that vacancy issue, when you have a single family house rented to a family and they leave and you can't fill it for a month or two, you have no income coming in. Here, I'm going to have some income coming in if one person leaves or even if two people leave. So that also helps with stability for the model.
yeah, that's fantastic. Now, every time I have somebody on here, I want to do what they do. I want to do what you're doing. All right, guys. So if y'all hear me talk about group home models later, don't be surprised. Just don't be surprised. Y'all know me by now. There was something else. Okay, so you told us a lot. You told us about like how you even threw in some creative financing with your strategy, how you found the house just with somebody who you knew. So people, keep your eyes open, tell people what you want to do. You never know who knows somebody who's selling a house or wants to get rid of a house, and maybe it's not something is not on the market yet. So you never know. Then you also shared with us the layout of it, how it's set up, all the things that you include, where to find roommates, like how to have their house rules. Like, so this is a lot for people who want to take this model. You basically gave like a roadmap, because even like with the roomies.com, I didn't know about a roomies.com. Zillow, about a Facebook marketplace, yes, but like some of those things are just like you wouldn't think of to find a room rental, right? What if somebody wanted to implement this kind of model and they're starting from scratch? What do you think is like either the best advice or the first thing that they should do, and kind of something they should keep in mind to get something like this off the ground, especially because the cash flow for a single family house, this is fantastic, and people don't have to do multifamily. That's why I'm normally telling people to do multi, because you have that hedge against vacancy, right? An economies of scale kind of thing, but you get that in a easier entry point single family house doing this kind of model, right? So sorry, I'm going all over the answer that I'm looking for.
I mean, there's, you know, more and more information coming out publicly as far as group homes and transitional housing. It is my intention at some point to work on an ebook kind of outlining it to help others, because I do get a lot of questions about how I'm doing my, you know, my model and how did I get there. But you know, it's a lot of common sense, but it's, you know, getting those pieces together. So like with any real estate investment that you do, you're going to be looking for a property that makes financial sense. You know what I mean? You don't have, and you have to look at the area as well. That's something else that's important. You don't want to do a group home where your multi-million dollar houses are, right? You want to be where people are more likely to need affordable housing. So the particular neighborhood that I'm in, it's, you know, it's a lower middle class area. It's a nice area. So it's not a high crime rate. But it's where our, you know, lower middle class area, where lower middle class people live. So those are the things you kind of want to look for as far as picking out an area. Where can you best serve people? Where are they likely to go? You want to be near public transportation also, because a lot of times these people don't have cars. And so, you know, a lot of people Uber and Lyft now, but a lot of people still use public transportation. So for us, the bus stop is 2 blocks away from the house, you know, so those are things that you want to consider, you know, the location, where you can best serve people. And when you buy a property, just like anything else, you want to buy what makes financial sense. You don't want to pay more for the property than the ARV, you know, that type of thing. So all those traditional things that we look for when we're looking for a property to buy and invest in would apply here as well.
Yeah. So my next question, I guess, then is, are you looking to scale this particular model, or are you just keeping this one, it's running along, humming great, and then you're not just going to, but then transition to focusing on like maybe your ground up developments and your land development, or is there like a larger plan to expand the group home model? What does that look like?
Actually, so, and thank you for asking. So for this particular property, it's on a 13,000 square foot lot. So it's a small house, relatively small house on a big lot. And in Miami-Dade County, our mayor, within the past year or two, she approved for ADUs to be built on properties in order to help combat the affordable housing crisis that we're facing here in Miami. And so my next project that I'm going to be working on, that's why the development of the land is kind of like backburnered now, because I want to focus on that property, building an ADU. So I'm going through the process now of determining, you know, what exactly can I build on the property. It would be great if I could do a detached 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house on the back side of the property. And I would also make that, you know, transitional housing. So I would have an additional maybe 4 beds in there. So.
Oh, I love that. I can't wait to see, what happens with that. So I'm gonna be keeping in touch with you so I can see this development process. That's super exciting. Okay, so look, I'm just really not overwhelmed, but I'm excited about this model. Like, I think
Yes,
it really serves a huge need,
yes,
especially in our current environment with affordability of housing. Um, yeah, like I said before, it's not solving everybody's problem, but it's solving a big problem, and it's really
absolutely.
something. And you can get paid by when you think about solving people's problems and you're creating a solution. So
Absolutely.
I'm definitely gonna look more into this model. Um, anyway, and actually, you know what? You told me about group home riches. And
Yes.
I went to the site and I ended up just going ahead. Like, I was on a webinar and they were having a sale on the course, and the course is already inexpensive. So I just went ahead and bought it. I was like,
Yes.
I'm not even ready to look at it yet, but at least I got it now and it's just sitting there. So I
Yeah.
got it because I'm like, I need to know what this
And honestly, that's what I use to get started. So it's not a complicated model.
yeah.
So it's a good material. So definitely delve into that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other thing you asked is, whether we plan on expanding. So my husband purchased a duplex. I think I may have mentioned this to you in Cleveland, Ohio. And we are in the process of starting a rehab on that property. And our intention is to also use it as transitional housing. So whether it's going to be for veterans, we're going to kind of look at the different areas and the different needs in that area. But my husband is a veteran, and so he has a heart for veterans, so we may use it for that purpose, but that will be, the rehab should probably start this summer and probably last a few months. So we have some time to figure out specifically what we're going to target as far as the market.
Are you enjoying this episode? Then stop what you're doing right now. Head over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating and review. It really helps our show get pushed to more people who are looking for the information that we're sharing here. We have to share the wealth. If you listen to us on YouTube, make sure you like the episode that you're listening to right now and subscribe to our channel. Then share the channel with somebody else. There are people out there looking for the information you're listening to right now. So make sure you share it with someone who you know needs it. Now, back to the show.
Nice. And guys, I already know you're gonna just get so addicted to this model. You're just gonna be spreading like, oh, I got another one in this state, and I got one up,
Yeah,
and I got another one over there. So I could definitely see this easily expanding and growing, even without it being like a super hit the road hard, just like a gradual, natural
right.
expansion. And I think it'll fit well with everything else that you're doing too, and help support and roll and just grow it and get to that next level. Oh, I'm excited for you, and I'm excited for me.
I'm excited for you too. Let me know how I can help.
Okay, I will be reaching out. Okay. We are going to transition now into our last segment of the show. We're calling Digest with the Guest. And that is when we discuss like little questions, and we call it Digest with the Guest because the guest leaves so many juicy morsels that we need time to like let it slowly go through and like digest all the information and really, really get all the nutrients out of that so that we can grow and be abundant, right? But first, what I want to do is I want to give a shout out to one of our show followers who left us an amazing review. This is from Ram4218, and she says, she or he, I don't know, it's just Ram, but great show, informative and inspiring. Thank you for sharing the tools for wealth creation and painting the picture of how we can all take that next step. Thank you, Ram4218, for leaving this review. And I just want to remind everyone, if you have not left us a review on Apple, please go and do that. That really helps us in the show. It helps push us up so that more people can find us and hear conversations like we had today and get this kind of information. And there's someone out there who's looking for exactly about what Donnise was talking about, and we need to make sure that they can find us. So now we're going to get into these Digest with the Guest questions. All right. So first question. Warren Buffett said that diversification is protection against ignorance. What do you take that to mean? And is that a good or bad thing? Do you agree with that, or what is?
I think that diversification is definitely important. I think that as an investor, you want to invest smart and you want to do your research and your homework. But the reality is we don't know everything about everything. And so diversification kind of gives you a safety net. You know what I mean? So that you're not in a situation where you lose everything by putting all your eggs in one basket. So I think that in that sense, diversification is important.
Nice. Okay. In the game of Monopoly, you played Monopoly before, right?
I play Monopoly.
In the game of Monopoly, Boardwalk or Baltic, which are you buying first in your strategy to win the game, and why?
For me, based on my group home model, I would pick Baltic because it's not just about, making money, but it's also about leaving an impact and helping people. So, and when you invest in Baltic, you can probably help more people with your real estate investing.
Nice. Okay. What does wealth mean to you?
So for me, wealth, it just means it means security, not just financial security, because, that can be taken away at any time, but wealth just means being secure. That I want to make sure, for example, for me, as I approach retirement in the next, I don't know how many years, that I don't have to worry about money, that I can, have money for myself for retirement and for my children and my grandchildren. So wealth just means being able to live comfortably and live happily without having to worry about the finances.
I love that. Without having to worry. That's like the biggest thing, that
Yeah.
security. 100%. Okay. We ask each guest to create a question for the next guest. So as you're thinking about the question that you would want to create, I'm going to ask you what the last guest left for you.
Okay.
So our last guest asked, if you were able to buy investment property anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
I would buy investment property in either the Dominican Republic or Panama. Because those areas, I have a friend that's invested in Dominican Republic right now. My family, as I indicated, is from the country of Panama, and those are both areas where tourists. It's a very tourist friendly spot, but it's also a place where you can invest and make the most out of your money. You can also retire there and live like king and queen in those areas. So I would say Panama and the Dominican Republic.
Nice. Love that. Okay. Now it's your turn. You want to think of a question. Now the question doesn't have to be serious. It could be funny, it could be a joke, not a joke, it's a question. But yeah, it doesn't have to be any particular like wealth building kind of question,
Okay.
but whatever comes to mind.
All right. So my question would be, if you could go back in time and erase one thing that you did, one thing you invested in, one thing that you did in your life, what would it be and why?
Okay. Excellent. I love that. Now, very, very last question. How can people get in touch with you? If they want to follow you or connect or learn more about this group home model, or whenever you're going to have these master classes, because I'm putting that in the atmosphere. You're going to have
Okay.
some master classes to teach people this group home, not just the ebook. You could do the ebook. That could be your lead capture for later, but you need to do this a master class.
A master class. Okay. So I'm available on all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and also YouTube at Donnise Webb. I believe on YouTube it's Donnise D'Souza Webb, but if you type in Donnise Webb, you'll find me as well. Same thing with LinkedIn, Donnise D'Souza Webb.
Nice. Okay, and we have your social media, so we'll make sure to put those in the show notes. And that is a wrap. And I thank you again so much for coming on and sharing all the information. You were not shy about breaking the details down and telling us the numbers and how much you're walking away with, and like just so people can see what's possible. I just want to understand what's possible. And another thing I didn't mention from your bio is that you're a founding member of the Black Wealth Consortium. Now,
Yes.
I love that. It's basically the same that of what the concept of what I'm doing here with the show is trying to share that financial information. But what Black Wealth Consortium serves to educate and empower individuals on a variety of investment strategies to diversify their financial portfolios and build generational wealth.
Correct.
We're doing. So we're wrapping up right after this, but I want you to tell us a little bit about the Black Wealth Consortium and if any of our listeners want to get involved with that.
Absolutely. If they're interested in learning more, we do what we call a founders forum twice a month, where we do an overview to explain what we're about. And basically we have courses or classes every week, every Sunday, where our entrepreneurs get together and we teach and train on different topics. We actually invest together. So for example, right now we're working on projects in Gary, Indiana, where we are raising capital to rehab houses, single family houses in Gary, Indiana, that we've already acquired, and with the goal of selling those houses for homeownership for our community, affordable housing for our community. So we're super excited about that project. We teach about stock investing, real estate investing. My husband is a registered investment financial advisor, so he does courses on how to get your financial house in order to, take care of your household, to make sure you have the foundation so that you can invest. So we do a lot of different things, and it's a nationwide organization. We have people from all over the United States that are a part.
Nice. All right. I have to get the website for that too, so we can put that in the show notes, because I definitely want people to tap in with you there, because that sounds excellent.
Awesome.
Be tapping in myself. That helped me diversify some more. But in any case, thank you, Donnise. Thank you for coming and sharing your story. And everyone, we will see you on the next show.
Did you love this episode of Share the Wealth Show? Be sure to connect with Nicole by following her on LinkedIn, Instagram, or Facebook. If you picked up any of the gems that were dropped by today's guest, make sure you not only put them in your bag, but if you know of someone who would benefit from this information, don't keep it to yourself. Share the wealth, and make sure to leave us a rating and review. We'll see you for next week's episode. Subscribe so you'll be notified.